Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Samuel Legge here representing Team JVS, back here again for another movie review. So, this is David Ayer. He is back, and the name of this film, which I've been loosely kind of following since I think the very first promotional art, which was first look at Shia LaBeouf as one of the main characters of this film, where his whole chest was completely tattooed up, and I think that they had even said that he had actually did this in real life for this specific film. But I'm going to go ahead and briefly read over the synopsis. A tax collector for a crime lord finds his family's safety compromised when the boss's old rival shows up in LA and upends his business. So, this stars Bobby Soto, Shia LaBeouf. Most notable name probably other than that would be George Lopez. And there's one extra big name, but you're not going to figure it out until maybe the third act of this film. Jose Conjero Martin, and pretty much the most notable names of this. Now, what are the things that I did like about this film? So as far as the way that they orchestrated the character of David, who basically is running things. He's running things with Shia LaBeouf's character, Creeper. Creeper is basically the muscle. He is the complete opposite, but yet they're brothers in arms. Their chemistry and their scenes together are eye-catching. I think that honestly Shia LaBeouf shines in every single line of dialogue. He really commits to it. There's one specific scene that takes place at a gas station, just an open line of dialogue that Shia LaBeouf has with Bobby Soto that I think nails it. But one specific thing about Bobby Soto that I'll say that a lot of people probably won't know, to make this movie very divisive and subjective in the way their thoughts towards the back half of this movie, is that he is the main focal point of this movie. He is the main star. This movie is more so about him than anything else. It's not even so much necessarily riding on the fact of what's happened circumstantially through his business, through his family, but it's more pivoted to him. So what I would recommend is your first time watching this is a non-spoiler review, is focus in on the character David. Everything that he does, everything. Because what I was doing the very first time I was watching this is I was focusing on Shia a lot. And it's their chemistry works so well together. But I was kind of in my head, I was like, yo, Shia's a loose cannon, character Creeper, I don't know what he's capable of. They kind of present him in this very high esteem that I don't necessarily think that on the execution standpoint that lives up to the expectations of what my perception would be. And I think a lot of people probably perceive the same exact thing. So to help tailor your expectations, know that the main pivotal character is David, played by Bobby Soto. But now, when Bobby Soto, towards the second and third act, he goes through a lot of range of emotions. And I think that he has some of the best action set moments as well, which you wouldn't perceive that from looking at the trailers. The trailers really do, in my opinion, I don't want to say they leave a false perception of what the narrative is going to be, but they really kind of do. And so I would tailor your expectations to just kind of look at this as a fully functional arc for the main character, Bobby. David. But what else could I say? I think that when the firefights go on, I think that they're very believable. They're not too over the top. I think that one specific one that took place inside of two different building areas, I think was shot really well. Definitely some amazing slow-mo moments, overhead shot. The moments that Shia LaBeouf was working, for real, in the very opening acts of it had these kind of feelings of your skin is crawling. You don't know what the character is really truly capable of. And I love that. I really did love those aspects of it. There's another character in this, Jose Conjero Martin, who plays the role of Conjero, ironically. He is a very scary individual. Through and through. From the moment you see him all the way to the certain course that his character goes, you are gonna be yo, he's insane. For real. He plays up that character very well. Now, I think that certain moments that he overshoots the character, he overshoots and it kind of comes off kind of gimmicky in the way that the performance is kind of executed, but the understanding of what the man is capable of in certain key moments I think are executed perfectly. I think that you understand full well what the person is capable of and what he's willing to do and what he actually believes and perceives is right or wrong, which makes him very dangerous. Now, as far as negatives, I think the very opening, like I said, in the very opening with the character David, I don't get enough from him. I don't get enough establishment of where he is outside of like what he believes. Like he's very much so either Catholic or Christian believer, whatever your perception is. He sticks to those convictions. And Creeper is a complete polar opposite. It's no dry area in between. Yes, they love each other. Yes, they care about each other. But, you know, that is, you know, Bobby's character, David. That's his mark. That's who he actually is. That's what he believes and everything. But it's like it's not enough groundwork for me to understand or perceive what he's truly capable of. There's a lot of exposition kind of talking about what they used to do in the old days. Specifically with the character Creeper, I don't like that. I don't get enough from him fully fleshed out, as in I don't know where he kind of comes from. I actually had some really interesting assumptions about his character and what his motivations were and what he really was doing. And it just didn't give me anything. There was nothing in this film that really showed me what Shia LaBeouf's Creeper character, you know, what he really truly is. Even though Shia nails every single scene that he's in, every single moment he commits to, every single time he kind of walks on screen, no matter how scrawny he looks, no matter how unmenacing sometimes he looks, like he sticks to the diction and he nails the part. But I would like to have had a lot more from him. Now, another character played by George Lopez, Uncle Lewis. I think that George Lopez nailed the scenes that he was in. He acted them perfectly. But much like the character Creeper, I don't get anything from him. It's just a lot of exposition kind of explaining kind of who he is and what he is without me understanding, you know, what he's capable of or who he was, you know what I'm saying? I don't even get a clear picture of this other character that I was telling you guys about that you'll find out in the third act. It's kind of like things just kind of happen. I wonder, did the movie get kind of cropped or edited down? Like, did certain parts of this kind of like get cut? I really do feel like it had to have. There's a couple moments that the character David is having a conversation with his wife a couple different times. And it's kind of like, when it started going and then all of a sudden it stopped and then it kind of clapped to a different section or a different camera angle. And I was like, was that an open line of dialogue that just got removed? And I don't know if the open line of dialogue that may have been removed or may have been cropped out would have helped the progression of the story, because a lot of people just really, at a certain point, you're just like, I want to get action, you know? But I think that this movie would have surged from a lot more building blocks, or maybe like a flashback sequence. I think a flashback sequence of just kind of showing certain things in the past would have really helped service the film and the long longevity of it. By the end of the film, I think my biggest critique is at the end of the film, is I felt kind of undercut. Like, it wasn't like, not only was it not like a pleasurable end, it was kind of like, dang, I just went through that. And for better or for worse, yes, it was acted well. Yes, and certain things were executed very well. But I was kind of like, I don't know how I really feel about the way that this went. And I don't know what the story was really trying to tell me. And I think that was probably my major critique, more than anything else. But again, in terms of the way that certain scenes were directed, in terms of the way that the progression of the characters kind of went with key characters, I think that those worked. I think that Bobby Soto nailed the character David. I think that Shia LaBeouf nailed the character Creeper. And again, like I said, the certain characters that they really did nail, but the surrounding world, there wasn't enough there or vibrancy of understanding what, you know, what was really happening. Like, I felt like it was bigger. The way that it was presented to me was bigger and more grandiose than what I actually got. Now, did I enjoy it? Yeah, I think I enjoyed a lot of it, but I think it could have been a lot better if it was fleshed out more. Things may have been cut a little bit different ways. And again, this may have also dictated certain lines of the pacing as well. So yeah. Other thing, the soundtrack is really good. David Ayer nails soundtracks. I mean, what I mean by soundtrack is like various artists' soundtracks. It's not necessarily a big themed score in this one, but the soundtrack was actually very good. And what else? I think that's pretty much it. I think I've gone through everything. It's unfulfilling on a certain level for me by the end of the film, but I think that it is entertaining enough to actually watch. And I think that trying to fit what they were trying to do within a consolidated hour and 30 minutes, or maybe it might have been an hour, 20 minutes tops, I think that did a disservice to a lot of the groundwork they kind of like built up or hyped up for the perception of anybody who watched the original trailers, because the trailers, I was like, yo, this is about to be insanely fire. Now, where would I leave this at? I would leave it at like maybe a 6 out of 10. I don't think it was completely terrible. I think that the acting was serviceable, and I think they did a really good job with what they were given, the actors. And again, there's some really good set pieces that were done. But I think that it was a lot left behind that should have been there ultimately. But hopefully you guys do enjoy this review. Let me know what you guys think about the movie when it comes out. It's coming out Friday, August the 7th. Again, I do think it is something that you should definitely check out for yourself. Maybe you feel a different way about it. And again, pay attention to the character David. Bobby Soto nails it, but you got to pay attention to his story arc to really get the overarching film as a whole. And I think if you can focus in on that, I think it'll actually give you a more enjoyable time in the long run. Anyway, keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace, guys.